The new Sith Lord and the Acolyte has revealed a key new advantage with the ability to deactivate Jedi lightsabers during combat. As seen in the Acolyte Episode 5, all 8 Jedi Knights on Khofar find themselves face to face with this new Sith Lord. However, it's revealed that he's armed with more than just his lightsaber and the dark side of the Force alone. Picking up moments after last week's episode, the 5th episode of the Acolyte begins with the slaughter of many Jedi at the hands of the Dark Warrior who arrived to stop them. This helmeted stranger begins dispatching them handily, but something curious happens here. As the Jedi lightsabers hit the gauntlets or helmets of the alleged Sith, their blades short out for a moment. This gives their opponent a distinct advantage, especially against so many saber-wielding opponents. At first, there might be some confusion about the mysterious metal, and some might even assume that it's Mandalorian Beskar, which we've seen deflect plenty of lightsabers in The Mandalorian. However, the metallic element here is totally different and has a long history in Star Wars. The material in question is called Cortosis, and it's been around in Star Wars in some form or another for the last 25 years, thanks to some of the original writers of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Cortosis is an incredibly rare metal that can be found in only 2 known places in the Star Wars galaxy. It's dense and conductive in such a way that it can absorb blaster bolts and feed energy back into the lightsaber, just enough to short it out. It doesn't short the saber out for long, but long enough for someone with nefarious purposes to press an advantage with their attack. Some descriptions refer to it as fibrous, which means that it can be woven into other metals, while others refer to it as brittle. In the 5th episode of the Acolyte, the mysterious, self-proclaimed Sith Warrior uses it to vanquish many foes, but it's also used against him by Yord, who blocks the saber with the battered Sith helmet. In the established Star Wars canon, as well as legends, Cortosis is quite rare. As such, it makes sense that the Jedi would struggle to combat it in the Acolyte. Thanks to his helmet and gauntlet, Khofar was able to effectively take on 8 Jedi at a time, eventually murdering 7 of them before the episode's end. By the end of the episode, Jedi Master Sol was the only survivor along with his former Padawan Osha. Khofar's people may also survived as well. That being said, it's also implied in the Acolyte that Cortosis holds another impressive ability to defend against Jedi's attacks. In the 5th episode, it's suggested that Khofar's Cortosis mask helped block the Jedi's ability to read his mind. As such, this new Sith helmet is not unlike Magneto's from Marvel Comics, which he wore to block out his thoughts from X-Men's Professor Xavier. However, Cortosis is not without its flaws in the Star Wars canon, even with this newly revealed ability. The trade-off is that Cortosis is quite brittle, despite its unique ability to deactivate lightsabers. It's why Cortosis armor isn't really a thing in the Star Wars canon, even if it wasn't so rare to begin with. As such, this explains why Khofar's mask eventually breaks while dueling Sol and Jeki, as it had already taken quite a bit of damage throughout the battle in its entirety. Jeki was able to break down the helmet in 2 and unmask their dark side opponent, which spelled certain doom for everyone there in order to keep the secret of the Sith. At any rate, it's very exciting to see such a classic and unique Star Wars metal finally make its way to live action. Likewise, it's even more exciting that it's in the hands of a Sith Lord who used it to fashion his dark and intimidating mask. While likely not meant to last for any long duration, the mask and gauntlet did provide the lethal advantage Khofar needed as he battled 8 Jedi single-handedly in this new episode. In the current canon, Cortosis has made a few appearances. It was first mentioned in John Jackson Miller's Star Wars Rebels prequel book, A New Dawn. In it, the cyborg bean counter Count Vidian had it woven into his armor and was able to stop Kanan Jarrus' lightsaber. Perhaps the biggest previous use of Cortosis came in Timothy Zahn's novel, Thrawn Alliances. In that book, the Separatist Alliance finds a mine full of Cortosis and plans to cultivate it in order to make a series of battle droids that would be unstoppable to the Jedi and their lightsabers. Fortunately, Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and Thrawn, then from the Chiss Ascendancy, were able to stop them. Cortosis has appeared in Star Wars comic books as well, with one blade in particular playing a part in a great story featuring Dr. Aphra. However, it's never appeared in live action before, leaving the Acolyte to take that honor. The first appearance of Cortosis in the Star Wars universe goes back to the 1998 Legends book, I, Jedi, written by New York Times bestseller Michael A. Stackpole. Although, if you ask Stackpole, he didn't dream up the idea for Cortosis, and offers all of the credit to his friend and colleague, Timothy Zahn. Quote, "The way Cortosis ore ended up in I, Jedi was fairly simple," Stackpole once said. "Timothy Zahn invented it for his books, and we talked almost every single day while I was writing I, Jedi. He told me about it, and I said I knew a place to use it. So his invention ends up in my book first, but that was pure Tim Zahn." Talking to Stackpole further, he explained that it was something Zahn needed for his then upcoming book, Vision of the Future, another yarn featuring the legacy of Thrawn, though not Thrawn himself. So the pair of them decided to slip it into the earlier book, so it didn't feel like it came out of nowhere in the canon. I, Jedi was published in the May of that year, with Vision of the Future following in September, creating a continuity between them that the writers felt was seamless. Cortosis was used in many Star Wars projects from that point forward, and while its rarity was always maintained in the universe, It was used whenever the plot required it across comics, books, and other properties. What did you think of the latest episode of The Acolyte? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for coverage of the series as a new episode premieres every week, and remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.